Welcome back to the Life with the Browns. What I'm about to break down today is not just another layer of the Meri catfishing scandal. It's the missing piece that many fans believe changes everything. Because Robyn Brown's best friend and former business partner, Kendra, once gave an interview that suggests this situation may have been far more calculated than anyone originally thought. For years, the narrative was simple. Meri Brown was lonely, vulnerable, and fell victim to an online predator posing as a man named Sam Cooper. A tragic mistake, an embarrassing scandal, a personal downfall. But what if it wasn't random? What if there were inside connections, people much closer to the family who were directly communicating with the person behind the fake persona the entire time? Before we go any further, let's establish something important. Kendra was not some random viewer who stumbled into drama on Facebook. She wasn't just a fan caught up in online gossip. Kendra was Robyn Brown's close personal friend. She appeared on the show in early 2014 during a San Francisco shopping trip, introduced as a fashion consultant. Robyn publicly praised her on social media. Janelle called her spot on with her advice. This wasn't casual acquaintance energy. This was friendship, business partnership, trust. Kendra was also professionally tied to the Browns through their online venture, Sister Wives Closet. She designed merchandise for them, including t-shirts, which later became part of a financial dispute when Robyn allegedly claimed thousands of dollars sent to Kendra was income rather than payment for product orders. That connection matters, because it means Kendra had insider access. She understood the family dynamics. She knew the tensions. She wasn't an outsider guessing at cracks in the marriage. She was standing close enough to see them forming. And here's where it gets unsettling. Multiple reports over the years have suggested that Meri only lowered her guard with Sam Cooper after Kendra vouched for him. According to those accounts, Kendra claimed she had video chatted with Sam. She insisted he was real. She allegedly reassured Meri that this was a genuine man who had fallen in love with her. If you're Meri in that moment, emotionally isolated, struggling in your marriage, feeling displaced, who are you more likely to believe? A stranger online? Or your sister wife's close friend who says, "I've seen him. He's real"? That endorsement may have been the turning point. Kendra even ran a Facebook group where Sam Cooper participated in Q&A sessions, answering personal questions and deepening the illusion. Even after the scandal exploded and Jackie Overton was exposed as the woman behind the fake persona, Kendra reportedly continued maintaining that Sam existed as a real individual. But then came an interview that many fans never fully saw. In July 2015, months after the scandal became public, Kendra sat down with investigator Brad Fanner. During that recorded conversation, she allegedly admitted something that shifted the narrative entirely, that she had been in contact with Jackie Overton from the beginning. According to the transcript accounts circulated online, Kendra said she first encountered Jackie in a Sister Wives Facebook group, where Jackie used the alias Lindsay Jackson and claimed to be a hacker capable of inserting herself into private conversations. Kendra described being told from early on that she needed to help convince people Sam was real, or there would be consequences. She claimed threats were made. Threats not just against her, but against the Brown family. If that account is accurate, it paints a picture of coercion, of manipulation, of someone being pulled into something far darker than a simple online flirtation. But here's the part that keeps the conspiracy alive among longtime viewers. Why target Kendra specifically? Jackie Overton didn't randomly recruit someone across the country. She connected with Robyn Brown's close friend, the one person whose endorsement would carry weight inside the family. That's not accidental. That's strategic. Kendra reportedly stated she spoke to Sam Cooper on the phone multiple times, with calls allegedly coming from Lindsay's phone. She described conversations about his heartbreak over Meri, about trust issues, about emotional vulnerability. Meanwhile, there were claims that Meri had warned Sam not to trust Kendra, creating a bizarre triangle of suspicion and loyalty. It's almost theatrical in its complexity. You have Meri, emotionally isolated. You have a fake persona, Sam Cooper. You have Jackie operating behind the scenes. And then you have Kendra, Robyn's close friend, vouching, reassuring, legitimizing. Now, it's important to be clear. There has never been verified proof that Robyn orchestrated anything. No legal findings. No official confirmation. But the overlapping relationships, the timing, and Kendra's own alleged admissions continue to fuel suspicion within parts of the fan community. Was Kendra manipulated by Jackie? Was she knowingly complicit? Or was she a pawn used to deepen Meri's trust? Those questions remain unanswered. What is undeniable is this: Meri's downfall didn't happen in isolation. There were multiple moving parts, multiple voices, multiple validations that made the illusion feel real enough to risk everything. And whether this was a calculated inside job or a chaotic chain of manipulation, the result was the same. Meri's reputation shattered, her position in the family weakened, and the Brown dynamic permanently altered. Sometimes scandals aren't just about one mistake. Sometimes they're about who was standing in the background and what they knew. Now, this is where the story stops being messy and starts feeling methodical. Because Kendra didn't just admit she was in contact with Jackie Overton. She revealed something even more disturbing. According to her interview, she intentionally invited Sam Cooper into her private Facebook group, not because she fully believed in him, but because she was trying to catch him slipping. She hoped he would make a mistake, provide proof, expose himself as Jackie. Let that sink in. If Kendra was actively trying to trap Sam into revealing he was fake, that means she already suspected he wasn't real. And yet, publicly, she continued vouching for him. That contradiction is what keeps this entire scandal alive years later. Because you can't have it both ways. You can't privately suspect someone as a fraud while simultaneously hosting Q&A sessions where that same person answers intimate questions about his relationship with Meri. Unless you were afraid, or you were involved. And that's where the web gets even darker. Jackie Overton wasn't just playing one role. According to Kendra, she had created an entire cast of fictional personalities. There was Lindsay Jackson, the supposed hacker with an Australian accent. There was Sam Cooper, the romantic businessman. There were others too, names like Chelsea Dawn and possibly even a Peyton. This wasn't a lazy scam with stolen Instagram photos. This was layered, strategic, performed. Kendra even described how the fake Australian accent would slip. When Lindsay got emotional or had been drinking, the accent would reportedly fade into what sounded like a Midwestern or Southern tone. She noticed similar speech patterns between Sam and Lindsay, repeated phrases, identical laughs, verbal tics like saying, and so funny. To Kendra, it became obvious they were the same person. So again, the question becomes unavoidable. If she believed Sam and Lindsay were both Jackie, why did she continue publicly insisting Sam was real? There are only two possible explanations. 1. She was terrified. Kendra claimed Jackie threatened her, allegedly saying harm would come to her and possibly the Brown family if she didn't cooperate. She even stated that Jackie hacked her Facebook and Twitter accounts, posting messages under her name declaring, "Sam is real." If that's true, then Kendra wasn't endorsing Sam. She was being digitally impersonated. Or 2, she was complicit, playing both sides, maintaining the illusion until the entire scandal exploded beyond control. And here's where it escalates again. Kendra described a Skype call with someone claiming to be Sam Cooper, but the video quality was reportedly so blurry and distorted that the man was barely visible. She said it looked staged, fuzzy, almost intentionally obscured. Her suspicion? That Jackie may have hired someone to appear on camera to provide visual proof that Sam physically existed. Think about what that implies. That's no longer casual catfishing. That's production-level deception. Coordinated planning. Potentially involving third parties to sustain the illusion. And it doesn't stop there. According to Kendra's account, Jackie instructed her to claim that Sam had visited her in the hospital. She was allegedly told to release a photoshopped image of Sam with her as proof. And shockingly, she went along with it. Why? Why agree to tell people that Sam visited you in the hospital if you knew it wasn't true? Why share a doctored image to strengthen a lie? If she was afraid, it suggests coercion was powerful enough to override common sense. If she wasn't afraid, it suggests participation. Either way, Meri was caught in the middle of something far bigger than a lonely online romance. What this reveals is chilling. The illusion of Sam Cooper wasn't sustained by one fake profile. It was reinforced by endorsements, staged interactions, possible impersonations, and allegedly manipulated social media activity. Whether Kendra was a victim of threats or an active player trying to stay ahead of a collapsing scheme, her involvement created the credibility bridge that allowed Sam to cross fully into Meri's world. And once that bridge was built, everything fell apart. Because sometimes the most dangerous deception isn't the stranger behind the screen. It's the familiar voice telling you that stranger is safe. Now here's where Kendra's story becomes almost impossible to untangle, because the more she explains, the more questions it creates. If she was truly terrified of Jackie's threats, why fabricate evidence? Why allegedly agree to post or support a photoshopped image? Why claim Sam visited her in the hospital? Why strengthen the illusion she now says she was trying to destroy? That's the line that changes everything. Because once you start creating false proof of someone's existence, you're no longer just a frightened bystander. You're participating in maintaining the lie. And that's why so many viewers believe Kendra was playing both sides. On one hand, she says she was catfishing the catfisher, pretending to believe Jackie's stories in order to gather evidence and expose her. On the other hand, she was publicly validating Sam's existence at the exact moment Meri needed reassurance the most. Was she confused, manipulated, scared, or was there another motive? Some fans have long speculated that Kendra's proximity to Robyn Brown is what makes this more than coincidence. They believe the threat's narrative may have served as plausible deniability, a built-in defense in case the operation unraveled. Now, it's important to say clearly, there has never been verified proof that Robyn orchestrated anything. These are fan theories, not legal conclusions. But the timing and relationships are what keep people talking. When investigator Brad Fanner asked Kendra why she decided to finally speak out, her response painted a chilling picture of how dangerous she believed Jackie Overton to be. Kendra described Jackie as sickly, twisted, mental, sociopathic, multi-personality, very smart and calculating. Not the image of a bored internet troll, but of someone strategic, manipulative, capable of long-term psychological warfare. She claimed Jackie tried to set her up, allegedly sending expensive gifts that could later be reported as stolen. She said she feared being framed, feared being targeted. She even mentioned someone referred to only as Rose, whose identity remains unclear, suggesting there were other individuals caught in Jackie's orbit. Kendra described becoming paranoid, losing relationships, facing public backlash. At one point, she said police showed up at her home for a drug raid based on a report she suspected was connected to Jackie. If true, that would mean Jackie was willing to weaponize law enforcement. Kendra labeled her a grand manipulator who made people question their sanity, a textbook description of gaslighting. But then the story turns from disturbing to terrifying, because Kendra claimed she had talked Jackie out of crazy things. She alleged that after the scandal went public and Meri exposed the catfishing, Jackie expressed a desire for revenge, possibly against Cody or Meri. And then came the most explosive claim of all. Kendra said Jackie mentioned knowing a hitman through gambling connections. Let that settle for a moment. According to Kendra, Jackie wasn't just emotionally volatile. She was allegedly connected to dangerous circles through gambling and had significant financial means. Not the stereotype of a broke scammer operating from a basement, but someone with resources. Kendra claimed she had to actively talk Jackie down from violent ideas. Now here's where logic kicks in. If someone truly believed there was credible danger, that harm was being considered, why wasn't law enforcement immediately notified? Were the Browns warned? Was there documentation? If those threats were real and not reported, that would create serious legal and moral implications. Which is why some skeptics believe the violent threat narrative may have been exaggerated. That it positions Kendra as a hero, someone protecting the Browns, rather than someone who helped legitimize the deception. But the psychological detail she shared is fascinating. Kendra admitted Jackie could be funny,
Sweet, charming,
She made people feel seen and cared for before pulling the rug out from under them. That push-pull dynamic, affection followed by cruelty, is classic manipulation. She even suggested Jackie may have started believing her own personas. That Sam Cooper wasn't just a mask, but an identity Jackie wished she could actually be. If that's true, then this wasn't just fraud. It was obsession. And now we arrive at the core of why this interview continues to resurface years later. Kendra was Robyn Brown's close friend, her business partner, someone with insider access to family information and emotional vulnerabilities. And she vouched for Sam Cooper at the exact moment Meri had legally divorced Cody and was emotionally adrift. That timing is what fuels the conspiracy narrative. Because when Meri gave up her legal marriage to Cody, a move that strengthened Robyn's position in the family, she also became isolated in a new way. Vulnerable, searching, detached. And that's when Sam appeared. And that's when Kendra reassured her he was real. Again, there is no confirmed evidence tying Robyn to orchestrating anything. But the overlap between Kendra's access, her endorsements, her later admissions, and the scale of the deception is what keeps fans asking, was this chaos? Or was it coordination? Because sometimes scandals aren't just about the person who got catfished. They're about who stood close enough to influence what she believed. And in this story, that influence may have mattered more than anyone realized. Now, let's talk about timing, because in scandals like this, timing is everything. Kendra appears on Sister Wives in early 2014 as Robyn's close friend and business partner. Public praise, social media shoutouts, professional collaboration through Sister Wives Closet. Fast forward less than a year. By March 2015, Kendra is vouching for Sam Cooper,
Hosting Facebook forum.
giving him a platform, legitimizing his existence to anyone who questioned it. That shift happened fast. And here's the part that fuels the conspiracy narrative. Meri legally divorced Cody in September 2014, so he could marry Robyn in December 2014. The emotional catfishing relationship reportedly began just months after that. So within a span of roughly 3 months, Meri gives up her legal marriage. Robyn becomes the legal wife. Sam Cooper enters Meri's life, and Robyn's close friend becomes the person validating him. That sequence is why some fans have never accepted the random scam explanation. The long-standing fan theory goes like this. Robyn wanted Meri permanently removed from her role as first wife, not just legally, but emotionally and symbolically. If Meri could be portrayed as disloyal or involved in an emotional affair, it would give Cody justification to detach completely. Again, there is no verified proof of this. It remains speculation. But it's a theory that refuses to die because of how the pieces line up. And if that theory were true, Kendra's later interview becomes incredibly strategic. By claiming she was threatened,
Coerced.
manipulated,
Hacked.
she positions herself as another victim of Jackie Overton, not as someone who helped open the door. That's what plausible deniability looks like. If you were involved but needed a safety net, you would say, I was scared. I was being threatened. I was forced to play along. It protects you from legal consequences and public backlash. But here's another detail that raises eyebrows. After the scandal exploded publicly in late 2015, the Brown family completely severed ties with Kendra. Not quietly, not gradually,
Completely.
If Kendra was simply another manipulated outsider, why cut her off so dramatically? Why end both personal and professional relationships? That move suggests one of two things. Either they believed she played a deeper role, or keeping her close created too many uncomfortable questions. Before the scandal, Kendra was one of the Browns' most aggressive defenders online, especially when it came to Robyn. She reportedly attacked critics, policed comment sections, and fiercely protected the family's reputation. Then suddenly, after the fallout, the relationship imploded, and Kendra's tone changed. She began speaking critically about the family, about dysfunction, about alleged financial issues, including the tax dispute involving the $25,400 payment for merchandise that later became a point of conflict. That's a dramatic pivot. You don't usually go from loyal defender to outspoken critic overnight unless something significant fractured the relationship. Was she betrayed, frozen out, or distancing herself from suspicions? And then comes perhaps the most damaging detail of all. After the catfishing was exposed, after Jackie Overton was publicly identified, Kendra didn't immediately run the other direction. Instead, she reportedly aligned herself with Jackie on Facebook. They continued insisting Sam Cooper was real.
Think about that.
If you were truly terrified of someone, if you believed they threatened violence, if you thought they were dangerous, why publicly team up with them after the truth came out? Kendra allegedly ran Facebook groups where both she and Sam answered questions, maintaining that Meri had fallen in love with a real man, not admitting she knew Sam was Jackie. That alliance is what convinced many fans that she wasn't just a victim, because victims typically distance themselves from their abusers. They don't co-host forums with them. Now, to be fair, there are people who believe Kendra may have genuinely feared Lindsay, another of Jackie's personas, and felt psychologically trapped even after exposure. Manipulation can create bizarre loyalty dynamics. Trauma bonding is real. But here's the uncomfortable reality. Every time the narrative starts to lean toward Kendra being a victim, another action pulls it back toward complicity. And at the center of it all is one undeniable fact. Kendra was Robyn's close friend. She had insider access. She vouched for Sam when Meri needed reassurance. And she maintained the illusion even after it collapsed. Whether that was fear, confusion, ego, revenge, or something more coordinated, it permanently altered the Brown family dynamic. Because once Meri was publicly humiliated, there was no going back. And sometimes the most important question isn't who created the fake profile, it's who helped make it believable. Now here's the part where the theory either collapses or becomes even darker. Because even if you accept that Kendra was threatened, even if you believe she was manipulated, that still doesn't fully explain why she continued defending Sam Cooper after the entire operation had already been exposed as fake. At that point, the illusion was shattered publicly. Jackie Overton had been identified. The receipts were out. The scandal was national news. So why keep insisting Sam was real? There are really only two logical possibilities. 1. Kendra was so psychologically entangled, so manipulated, so deep inside Jackie's web that she genuinely lost her grip on what was real and what wasn't. That she convinced herself Sam existed despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary. Or 2. She wasn't just manipulated. She was involved. And her later interview, where she described threats, coercion, and hacking, becomes less of a confession and more of a strategic paper trail. A documented defense. Something she could point to if her role was ever legally questioned. But here's where the focus shifts away from Kendra and lands squarely on something Meri herself revealed. Because the most damning piece of this entire puzzle isn't about Facebook groups or Skype calls. It's about trust. During the Sister Wives tell-all, Meri dropped a revelation that many fans believe changes everything. She said that private conversations she had with Robyn, deeply personal conversations about what was happening with Sam, somehow made their way to both Jackie Overton and to Cody, and that created what Meri described as a permanent fracture in trust. Think about that carefully. Meri confides in Robyn. Intimate details, emotional vulnerability, her fears, her confusion, and somehow that information reaches the Catfish and Cody. If Kendra admitted she was in contact with Jackie during the catfishing, and Kendra was Robyn's close friend, then the most logical bridge between Meri's private confessions and Jackie's manipulation would be Kendra. That's the pipeline many fans believe existed. Meri, Robyn, Kendra, Jackie. And once Jackie had insider emotional information, she could tailor the manipulation perfectly. She would know exactly what Meri was feeling, exactly what reassurances to offer, exactly what vulnerabilities to exploit. But the information didn't just move outward. It flowed inward too, to Cody. And that shift is critical. Because if Robyn was relaying Meri's emotional messages, the voicemails, the expressions of love, the vulnerable admissions, and framing them in the worst possible light, that would transform Cody's indifference into disgust. It would cement the narrative that Meri wasn't just lonely, she was disloyal. And once that label stuck, her position in the family hierarchy was effectively destroyed. Now look at the timing again. Meri legally divorces Cody in late 2014, so he can marry Robyn. 3 months later, the catfishing escalates. Within a year, Meri is publicly humiliated. And for nearly a decade after that, she lives in emotional exile within the family. Before the scandal, Meri still held symbolic power as first wife. After the scandal, she was disgraced. The shift was immediate and irreversible. Now, does that prove coordination?
No.
But it makes coincidence feel unlikely. Because what are the odds that a multi-layered catfishing operation involving multiple personas, alleged staged calls, and insider emotional data would randomly target Meri at the exact moment when her removal from influence most benefited Robyn? Add in the fact that the person legitimizing Sam was Robyn's close friend. That's why this theory refuses to fade. Kendra's admission that she was threatened doesn't eliminate the conspiracy narrative. In some ways, it strengthens it because it confirms Jackie wasn't operating in isolation. There were direct lines of communication with someone connected to the family. Whether those threats were real, exaggerated, or mutually constructed as a cover story, Kendra was still the credibility bridge. And after everything exploded, she disappeared from the sister-wives world entirely. No more fierce defenses of Robyn. No more public closeness. Just silence. The Brown family has never publicly detailed what really happened between them and Kendra. Robyn has never directly addressed the theory that she orchestrated anything. And Meri? She endured 8 years of punishment for falling in love with someone who didn't even exist. 8 years of contempt. 8 years of being reminded of her affair. 8 years of emotional isolation. She finally left in 2023, and only now has she begun openly acknowledging the betrayals she felt, including the admission that her private conversations were leaked. That statement alone is what many fans consider the real smoking gun. Not because it proves a criminal conspiracy, but because it confirms a betrayal of trust inside the family. As for Jackie Overn, there have been no widely reported legal consequences tied to the catfishing itself. No public prosecution despite alleged threats and emotional damage. And that absence raises another uncomfortable question. Was a legal process avoided because it might have forced certain communications, timelines, or relationships into the public record? We don't know. What we do know is this. The catfishing scandal permanently destroyed Meri's credibility inside her marriage. It shifted the power structure. And it happened with suspicious precision. If the conspiracy theory is false, then this was an extraordinarily coincidental series of events. If it's true, then Meri wasn't just deceived by an internet predator. She was strategically isolated by someone she trusted. And that possibility, not the fake profile, is what makes this story so disturbing. Because online deception is one thing, but betrayal from inside your own family? That cuts far deeper. And whether this was chaos, manipulation, or coordination, the damage reshaped the Brown family forever.